Hello folks and welcome back. In this presentation we'll be going over the pioneering research of Weston A. Price in his book called Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. So let's get right into this. So to begin, I want to bring up a very important but revolutionary study conducted by Weston A. Price back in the 1930s and 40s. Weston A. Price was a dentist, scientist, nutritionist and researcher. He set out to study around 50 native tribes all around the world that were still untouched by traditional Western diet containing processed flour, sugar, milk and table salt to see what role nutrition played on our health and physical degeneration. What he found was astonishing. Initially, many of the native tribes people he encountered were in impeccable health. He observed they were a lot leaner and stronger than the Western man and also had better posture, teeth and cranial bone symmetry and development than that of modern Western man. You can see here in the image that depicting an native Indian and sitting bull. And it says here the native Indians have perfect bone structure, like I mentioned, teeth, posture and skin. Sitting Bull was an elder but still fit and strong with perfect posture, a quality noted across all native tribes people. So he also found that all these tribes only ate the foods that were available to them in their given environment. For instance, the Inuits ate a diet of 90% animal foods and 10% plant foods, whereas the inland Aboriginals ate a diet of 90% plant-based and only 10% animal. This is a very important concept because where your ancestors spent most of their time evolving on planet Earth and eating the foods available to them given their environments, you will carry with you their genetic ability of being able to digest, assimilate and eliminate those foods that your genetic lineage was exposed to for millennia. This is why you never feed grass to a lion and meat to a giraffe. Humans are no different, which is why it is important to identify what primal pattern diet type you are so you can adjust the ratio of plant-based and animal foods accordingly. It's also referred to as your metabolic type, which is something we'll go on and work out later on under this section. It's only a few videos from now, I believe. In addition, it takes 100,000 years to change the human genome by 0.01%, and we are only 2.8% different than our closest ancestors, the chimpanzee. This means it has taken the human species 2.8 million years to evolve into who we are today. So we only started farming grains about 10,000 years ago as agriculture set in. So what do you think our ancestors ate as hunter-gatherers and foragers in order to get us to where we are today? 10,000 years is a mere blink of an eye, let alone the last 200 years where we've been exposed to all these processed foods and chemicals. It begs the question, given the facts above, what do you think our bodies, after millions of years, are still designed to eat genetically? Is it that Mars bar, that latte, perhaps the bag of chips, or is it that organic berry, root, chicken or fish? I think it's quite obvious. Going back to Weston A. Price, interestingly, he did not observe one native tribe who are 100% vegetarian. Now this will shock a lot of you guys, but it's true, there's no denying the facts here. The closest were the inland and forest dwelling tribes where animal meats were scarce, with the only source usually bird or rodent, a factor based primarily on environment and what was available to them where they are living. There was no religious dogma, it was just survival. In addition, these people were far more spiritual than any new age vegetarians or vegans, as they were in touch with the closed organic cycle of life, death and sacrifice that was required to sustain life here on planet Earth, a process they were far more connected to. Now I know obviously vegetarianism and veganism serves a purpose, but this is something we're going to demystify. It's a huge chip on a lot of people's shoulders. And it was one of mine as well when I came into the knowledge of, what the industry is doing, the meat industry is doing in terms of the commercial meat industry to the planet with the resources that it gobbles up in terms of feeding them grains and stuff. But when you go back to just eating the organic grass-fed meats and recognizing the history and the genealogy of our ancestors and just the nature of evolution itself, there's no denying the fact that we cannot exist and subsist on a diet purely of vegetables. It's impossible. There's not one tribe out there that has survived and has been recorded to live primarily on plants and fruits. And I've seen this, unfortunately, I fell victim to this kind of way of thinking, this ism, when I kind of woke up to what was going on. And granted, it does have its effects because it acts to detoxify the system, but over a long period of time, especially if you're a polar type, so for me, someone who's been used to eating meats throughout my lineage, my genetic history and evolution, I came up with a lot of deficiencies, i.e. protein, and especially some of the fats which are only found in animal products, which promote proper cognitive thinking and brain function. So we need to kind of blow that out the water. And if there's any vegetarians and vegans here listening, don't take offense. Just set aside your dogmatic beliefs, keep an open mind. And as we go through more of these videos and these subtopics, you will see how, if this hasn't already proven to you, that going back to introducing some animal produce into your diet will only benefit you. And if you're not, your body's going to be malnourished and it will start eating itself due to these processes in order to help run all of these enzymatic and detoxification pathways, as well as the cellular growth and repair pathways too. It's just a fact, unfortunately. And like I said, I had to get over that hurdle. I had to kind of strip away that dogmatic belief that I was kind of a part of for a good 2.5 years. I was a vegetarian, strict. And like I said, as soon as I introduced meat back into my diet, organic meat, it was a game changer. And I've never looked back. And I understand the science now, understand my history, our ancestors, how we used to eat, how my body and what it's designed to eat, and how we're like omnivores. And so we'll get into this a little bit deeper. So yeah, it's a really interesting topic, but I encourage you, keep an open mind. If you are vegetarian, obviously it does have its benefits, but just know that you cannot subsist on a diet purely of plants and fruits, unfortunately. No matter how, you look at this, you need animal products in order to sustain a holistic, healthy and vital body, basically. So, once these tribes were introduced to the Western diet, he noted a rapid deterioration in health. Go figure. Many of the natives started losing teeth, developing diabetes, as well as cancer and all kinds of diseases common in today's society. Disturbingly, the next generation were even born with deficiencies like crooked teeth, poor bone development and posture, as well as shortened cranial bone development. So you can see in the image, the difference in teeth and cranial development with the next generation when they're exposed to the Western diet. So you see all these kids here with the crooked teeth and the shortened nasal passages, which actually acts to bring the head forward in order for their bodies to bring in sufficient amounts of oxygen, which is kind of like a compensation response to the body. And this is otherwise something you can actually measure yourself. It's called the rule of thirds. From your thumb to your forefinger, from the chin to the bottom of your nose, should be the proper proportions of bone development in your face. Likewise, the nose to the tip of your brow, and then from the brow to the top of your forehead. That should be, in proportions, the rule of thirds. So a lot of the nasal passages, are shortened as a result of, this Western diet creeping in, and these new kids being born, unfortunately, which, has a knock-on effect with compensation mechanisms, like I mentioned, and bringing the posture forward, having that crane neck, so the body can actually draw more oxygen in as a result of having a shorter nasal passage. So, these things do have a detrimental effect on people's health. So many of these tribes did not have a word for cancer until they started developing it after going on the Western diet. This study provides evidence of the following. Eating right for your genetic type is essential for optimal health. Eating organic, fresh plant and animal-based products are essential for optimal health. And eating processed foods consisting of flour, sugar, dairy and table salt, i.e. the 4 white devils, will inevitably cause disease and degeneration in the body. So I really do recommend, if you want to buy his book and read a bit more in depth as to his research, is incredible, and he's got plenty more photos in there of cases showing you the change in the physical degeneration as a result of this diet being introduced to these native people, which is very, very sad, but otherwise just proves hands down that this diet that we've been sold just does not serve us at all. All it does is drive and serve the CEOs and the people who own the businesses who protect these industries, because they're just in it for the money, unfortunately. And then obviously big pharma profits as a result of this, because when we're sick, we need to rely on medicine. And so it's like this kind of, they're sleeping all in the same bed, basically. All right, so thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll be going over biochemical individuality, and this will just naturally build on itself in this introduction. Before we get into obviously working out what your metabolic type is, or your primal pattern diet type, so you can start building a relationship with your body and realize genetically where you were emanating from, or what kind of genes you have, so you can start addressing your diet in order to accommodate that fact, in order to unlock your genetic potential. All right guys, thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.